Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm gonna be testing Dark Souls, the first one, on the GeForce GTX 1050 Ti for FPS monitoring. This time I won't be using cam since it's not currently working with this game, and if you want to support me, there are Humble and Amazon affiliate links down in the description. So Dark Souls 1, I'll be doing 1080p, 1440p and 4K. To skip none of those sections of the video, check the description below. So well, first of all, I need to mention something very important. This is a terrible PC port. When it was released we only had 720p and a very bare bones options menu. But thanks to a modder called Durante, we got a mod called DSFix, link down in the description. This is essential to run the game over 720p. So for the options menu, I'll just show you the config file for the mod. Since you can choose resolution there, you can choose different kinds of ambient occlusion, depth of field qualities. The game was also capped at 30 frames per second, but thanks to this mod we could unlock the frame rates. So I just kept the game at 60 frames per second, since if not the game had some issues with the engine. But remember that at 60 frames per second the weapons are half as durable, so the weapons degrade twice as fast. I played over 80 hours of this game. In my opinion it's one of the best games of all time, but I played at 30 frames per second since my PC back then wasn't able to do 60s, but I didn't feel it that different in this game. One of the things that you should do is enable Vsync, since this game has terrible screen tearing problems. I enabled Vsync from the NVIDIA control panel. I just selected Vsync as on. You can also select adaptive Vsync, but you'll still see some tearing here and there. But so far the game runs at 60 frames per second at 1080p or 1440p. At 4K I wasn't able to get 60s. On 1080p I used very high quality depth of field compared to the base game, plus better ambient occlusion, plus better anti-aliasing. But you'll still see drops below 60 frames per second in random places. For example, when I go into the forest or I use an effect, for example fire, that's a big hit to the frame rate, but it's not unplayable by any means. At 1440p the same thing happens. I just lowered depth of field, ambient occlusion and anti-aliasing in order to get similar performance to 1080p. And well, finally at 4K I lowered the settings even further, but I wasn't able to get 60 frames per second at all. So I recommend just cranking up the settings at 4K, capping the game at 30 frames per second, since it will be more consistent. You'll see that the GPU usage is not maxed out. That's because the game is capped at 60 frames per second. But on 4K you'll see sometimes that the GPU is at 80% and will still drop below 60. Well, that just seems to be the game's optimization, or just the lack of optimization. But yeah, so far the game in my opinion is still playable. There are some issues here and there with the frame times and when using effects, for example fire or just particles and debris. Those effects are what kills the frame rate here. And well, I know that the most demanding part of this game is Blacktown. If you don't know what Blacktown is, it's one of the swamp areas of the game, which is a huge hit to the frame rate. I mean, I remember when playing at 30 frames per second, the game dropped to 15 FPS. It also happened on consoles, so keep that in mind. I mean, I didn't test that because it wasn't taking advantage of the GPU at all. It just robbed the GPU usage. It didn't seem to be a GPU intensive stuff, just lack of optimization. And I didn't test it because it doesn't make sense. It's just that specific area. The others run way better than that. So when you get to Blacktown, remember that you'll get a big hit to the frame rate. But it will be just in that area because it's very unoptimized. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you keep enjoying the video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
Oh.